Welcome back everyone to another episode of Let's Build Twitter. We are on episode 86, and in this episode we work on the login modal 2 content, starting with a new validated input that just displays the username inside of a disabled box. Then we create the login modal 2 and set up all the content that goes inside of it, including that new validated input. Then we wrap up the episode with styling and importing a new form into the login modal, that way we can see it on the page. As always, I'm Ethan on Koder, and let's hop straight into development. The next step on the journey of finishing up our login is to go ahead and make a new validated input. So we're going to go ahead and go up to our validated input. We're going to make a new file. We're going to call this disabled validated input.tsx. Maybe my keyboard wants to enter. Is not valid. Why are you not valid? New file. Disabled validated input. Hopefully I spelled that right. TSX. I don't know what was going on there. I think I did not spell validated right, so let me fix this. There we go. Cool. So we'll go ahead and import React. Let me get rid of this. React from React. We're going to need import the styled input box and our styled input label. And then, we're also going to need to import our /validated input.css for some CSS styles. We'll also need an interface. This is going to be called disabled validated input props. Then in here, we're going to have a label, which is a string. We're going to have a value, which is also a string. Let's go ahead and export const. My typing is just horrible today. Disabled validated input. And this is a react.fc. And this is going to take in a disabled validated input props. We'll go ahead and break those up. Label and value. And make this. Oops. I am so sorry today. It is not going well. There we go. And we'll go ahead and return our div. I like to do it like this. It's not necessary. Class name equal to disabled validated input. All right, cool. So we need a styled input box. So we'll go ahead and grab that styled input box, and inside we need active equal to false. We need valid equal to true. And then inside here, we're going to need a styled input label. So styled input label. I don't want to spell label right. And inside here, we need a color equal to gray. We're going to need our active equal to true for this one. We're going to need valid also equal to true for this one. And we can go ahead and close that. And inside here, we'll have our label. So that'll be the label text. And then below, we're going to have an input, a class name equal to validated dash input dash value, and validated dash input dash text dash transparent. And then we're going to have value equal to our value. Although I want this outside of our class name. Value equal to the value. And then finally, we want this to be disabled. We don't want them being able to click on it. So this is basically going to go inside of our next login modal, because we're not able to actually click on it once we have it set up. Let's go ahead and set up the CSS for this guy. So this one's going to be pretty simple. Inside of here, we're going to go to our, we want not that. We want our CSS. We're going to scroll down a little bit, and we're going to add our disabled dash validated dash input. And here we're just going to have a height of fit content. We're going to have a width of 100% of the parent. We're going to have a background dash color equal to RGBA. It's going to be 0, 0, 0 and 0.05. So basically black, but very light black. And then dot validated dash input dash text dash transparent. And this one is just going to have a color of RGBA of 0, 0, 0 and then 0.4 and save. So this is going to allow us to put in basically what the person's username is. So now we can go ahead and set up that login form too. Let's go ahead and get rid of some things. So we don't need this anymore. I don't think we need the user slice. I don't think we need the modal button for the time being. We don't need login. Well, we'll actually need that a little bit. And we don't need that. So cool. Now back inside of here, I'm going to go into login forms, make a new file, login form 2.tsx, and enter. All right. And we'll close this. So we need to import React. We also need use state for this one from React. Then we also need to import use selector, also from React Redux. Cool. Then we need our root states, import root states from our store. We're going to import our validated text input. Validated text input. This is going to be used for the password, and we need to import our disabled validated text input. This is going to show the username. And then finally, we need a couple of things from Material UI. So we're going to import visibility icon or outlined like a type. And I want to make sure I get this right, from at MUI slash icons dash material and then slash visibility outlined, because if we don't import this properly, it's gonna scuff some things. Next, we're gonna import visibility, and this one is called off outlined. Is this correct? It is, but it didn't work the same way, but I'm not too worried about it. It's the same one, so I'm going to hope for the best. We're going to import our /login forms.css. Cool. And we also need interface for login form to props. And here we're going to set password, and this is going to have an e.react.change event, or e is equal to a react.change event, and this is going to be an HTML input element, and this will just return void. So this is how we're going to know what password is sending over. And finally, we'll export const login form 2, which is a react.fc, and takes in a login form 2 props, which we will break out the set password and go ahead and set that up. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and just return our div, the class name equal to login form 2 container. I am struggling today. Cool. And we also need to set up some state, so I just set that up so it stops crying for a second. So our const state is going to be equal to use selector, and then we're going to have our state in here, which is root state. I don't know what I just imported, but I didn't want that. And we're going to say state.user. We really probably should have done a login slice or a login, whatever it's called. I can't think right now, but the React version of Redux, but it is what it is. We're also going to have const active, and set active, and this is going to equal to use state and boolean, and this will be set to false. This is basically going to say whether or not we can click on the button. So you're not supposed to be able to click on the button while there's no data inside of it, so that's why we're starting it off as false. All right, so now inside of our form, we're going to need a few things. So first, we need h1, the class name equal to login-form-header. This is something that is shared. We're going to enter your password. Cool. Then we need our disabled validated input with a label equal to username. I think Twitter probably actually has it uppercase, I would imagine. And the value is going to be equal to state.username. And that's all we need there. And then we'll need a div class name. And this will be equal to login-form-2-password. And in here, we'll have our validated text input. Validated text input. And we'll need a valid equal to true. Really, we probably could have set this to error or something, but it's fine. Label is equal to password. And actually, we might do that later and not even thinking about it. We're going to have some attributes. So this is something specially set up for this input. We're going to have a min length attribute. And this is going to be equal to 8. And then we're also going to have a type attribute where we have active question mark. If it is, it's going to be text. Otherwise, it's going to be password. So I guess I didn't set this up the way that I thought I did, but there's probably more coming as well. So whether or not it should be whatever type. And then what we want to do is do one of these, I believe. Validated text input. What am I missing? Attributes. Oh, and we missed name equal to, and this is just going to be password. And we also changed value, which will be equal to our set password. We just missed a couple of things there. All right, cool. That sets up that label. And then we need a div with an on click on it equal to toggle view, which I don't think we ever set up. So we need to set that up in a second. That's fine. The class name equal to login-form-2-password-icon. All right. And in here, we're going to have active question mark. And if it's active, we're going to have visibility. Ability. And this one is off outlined. And we're going to have SX equal to, and we're going to, whoops, that made too many. Well, actually, no, it didn't. It's fine. We're going to have font size is 24px. And then otherwise, we're going to have something else. And this gets a little bit messy, but what can you do? Then we're going to have visibility. And this is going to be outlined icon with SX equal to. And then here we're going to have font size equal to 24px. And let me see what it's complaining about. Well, this for one thing, probably. And let's see. So active question mark. We'll have our visibility, which we never close. So close out of that and close out of that. Okay. And then I closed that too early. Fix that and fix this. There we go. Cool, cool. And then now we finally need one more thing below here. And we're going to have a P, the class name, equal to login-form-2.forgot. And we're going to have a color -blue. And then this is just going to say forgot password question mark. All right. And now we just need to set up this toggle view, which doesn't really do anything much. It's just going to go ahead. I'm going to come up here, const toggle view, going to equal to a simple arrow function that does nothing. Going to set active equal to not active. That's going to turn on and off the text. And later on, I do believe we set up a button or something along those lines, but for the time being, we don't do that. So now we need to go ahead and set up the CSS for this, which is fairly simple. So now we need to go back into the login form.css. I'll just go to the bottom. We'll say .login form -to -container, and the width will be 100%. The height will be 100% or 100%. That's fine. And then our display will be flex. Our flex direction will be column, and then we'll have a justify content of flex start, and we'll have an align items of center. So that's our container. Then we need the content, which I don't know if I set up. Let me double check this. Login form 2, and I don't think we actually had a content. I know that I refactored a couple things here, so some of these things might not exist anymore. So I don't think we need the content. We'll move on to password. .login form -to -password. And if I did make a goof or something here or there, I'll fix it eventually. So the position is going to be relative. All right, and then our margin -top is going to be 25px, and our margin -bottom is going to be 0. Should be 25. And then we have our .login form -to /password -icon. Position here is going to be absolute, and the bottom to px, fine, and it's going to have a right of 15px and the cursor pointer. And then we need our forgot and forgot hover. So .login form -to -forgot, and this is going to have a font baby size of 13px. Is going to have a margin top of 0, but it's going to have a margin left of 10px. And then finally, .login form -forgot :hover. And here we'll have a text decoration of underline. I think we could just use link here, but cursor pointer, it is what it is. So there we go. Now I need to go back into our login modal to set up our actual form and all of that good stuff and set up a handle password. So let's go ahead and go back into our login modal, and we need to pull in use state. And we also need to go ahead and create a const password. I go below here, there we go, const password, and set password is going to equal to use state, and this will have a string in it and an empty string for the time being. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and say const handle password, and this is going to equal to an e with a react.change event inside of it. This is going to come from an HTML input element, and this will return nothing. So go ahead and do this. And now we're going to set our password to target.value. So now we're going to keep track of our password, and this will have to eventually be passed on to a button at the bottom. So now we can go ahead and put in our login form 2 here. So instead of saying login form 2, we'll actually put in login form 2 here, and this is going to have a set password equal to handle password, like so. And I need to actually import this login modal too. So import our login form 2, Now let's see if this is going to work or not. So back inside of here, I believe everything's still running. Password is now broken, so I do need to go ahead and set another div here that I'm missing, I'm guessing. But at least let's go ahead and refresh and make sure this is still working. So sign in, and I'll put in our unknown Koder here, and next. Okay, so this is what we did for the disabled. You can't click on anything, it's kind of grayed out. We need another box here to kind of fill this in. So let me go ahead and create that. So inside of our login form 2, I don't really know what I was going for here because apparently my code is wrong. But I think all we need to do is go ahead and wrap this with a div, the class name equal to login dash form dash content. And then we're going to take all of this and scuff everything. I think this is all we need. And then we need to do one of these. Oh, try that. All right, there we go. And do this. And then nothing's going to line up. So go ahead and fix this. Although this lines up, this one just doesn't. So let's fix these, I suppose. Make these look a little better. Cool. I guess this div goes here. Now I broke everything again, I think. I'm missing a div, I think. No? Yeah, I am missing a div somehow. Where am I missing a div? Div here. I think there needs to be a div right here for some reason. I don't know why I didn't add one there, but there we go. Fixed. Cool. So I think that's all fine and dandy. This can go here and that can go there. All right, cool. So now we need to take this login form content and bring it over to our CSS. And I'm going to put it right below here. And this is going to go ahead and conform our stuff the way that we need. So let's go ahead and grab this CSS. It's going to have a display of flex. It's going to have a flex direction of column. It's going to have a justify content of center. It's going to have an align items of center, and then a width of 75%. And this still might not fix the input box. Yes, for some reason, these guys need like a direct parent sometimes. So let me take a look here. This one might need login form 2 password does have that. Let me double check login form 2 password. Let's go ahead and throw a width of 100% on this and see if this helps this one. Sometimes these are a little bit finicky. And there we go. Cool. So this is what we want to look like. We click on here. This is broken for some reason. So let me double check this. We have a relative, and I'm guessing that let's see, login form 2 password icon. It is a parent. Let me make sure that I spelled this right. Okay, that looks good. Relative position. This one should be working, so I'm not sure why this one is scuffed. This should be up here slightly. Let me double check something really quick. Interesting. For some reason, this one is slightly off. Everything looks proper, so I'm not sure why this one isn't working. I'm going to try to tweak a couple things maybe. So it's acting like it's relative to... Oh, you know what? It's because we added the margin at the bottom, I think, and I think it offsetted some stuff. So this one was originally at 2. So let's say 27 instead and see what it looks like now. And this might fix it. There we go. And it could even probably go up a little bit more. So maybe we go 32 pixels. See what that looks like? There, that looks a lot better. So we added margin on this. It's not really doing anything though. So maybe I take the margin off, but that looks good. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially with that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.